The summer of 1943 found the setting at Camp Crossville, Tennessee. The German soldier stared in fascination at the brown, bubbling liquid inside the bottle, something entirely unfamiliar to him. After spending 2 years engaged in combat across North Africa, surviving on dry biscuits and ersatz coffee, he now encountered something altogether different. This sugary, effervescent beverage known as Coca-Cola seemed to make the impossible tangible. It was available for 5 cents at the camp's canteen, the same amount, the guards told him, that American children used their pocket money to buy it for. Throughout American POW camps during that summer, a total of 371,683 German prisoners were faced with a situation that refuted every concept about American frailty put forth by Nazi state media. They were introduced to a country where ice cream served as a standard after-meal treat, where sodas were consumed daily, and where candy bars were so plentiful that even guards would hand them out freely. Such simple fare delicacies many German youths had never sampled would shatter the core of Nazi dogma more thoroughly than any campaign of psychological warfare. The figures of plentifulness were inscribed in the forms of sugar bubbles, cocoa, and frozen desserts, showcasing an American industrial prowess that exposed German hardship as needless misery rather than a valorous offering. What started as awe at the range of American confections soon gave way to a profound shift in mindset. The close of the Desert Campaign. When the Afrika Korps finally gave up in Tunisia in May 1943, close to 250,000 troops from Germany and Italy became prisoners under Allied control. These experienced warriors of the desert, who had forced the British as far as Egypt under RML's guidance, anticipated rough handling in captivity. The Nazi media had conditioned them to expect cruelty and deprivation from the Americans. Contrary to these fears, only hours post-surrender, they encountered American field rations. These ration packs, often the source of complaints from U.S. troops, were filled with unexpected treats: biscuits, processed cheese, chocolate, fruit bars, powdered coffee, small sugar cubes, and cigarettes. For Germans who had endured with barely any rations for extended periods, these emergency food parcels were like banquets. As detailed in military archives, at the intake camps in North Africa, U.S. forces offered pancakes drizzled with syrup, fresh eggs, and milk, items that had disappeared from German military supplies long before. This organized provisioning of high-quality food to captives commenced at once, though its impact on morale and perception only revealed itself over time. One German officer would later inform the International Red Cross, "We thought we would be starved as captives. But the Americans fed us better than our own military ever did." This startling realization about America's resources marked the beginning of our re-education. During the summer of 1943, Liberty ships transporting prisoners of war across the Atlantic offered a direct immersion into American plenty. These ships, assembled in record-breaking quantities, a new one finished every 42 hours at the height of production, carried as many as 30,000 prisoners each month to American shores. Naval records indicate that prisoner food allowances on these vessels matched or surpassed the regular crew rations, amounting to roughly 3,500 calories per day, including items such as fresh meat, bread, vegetables, and coffee served with milk and sugar. American refrigeration technology installed on these ships, a standard feature, allowed perishable foods to stay fresh for the entire 2-week voyage. Notably, logs and testimonies confirm that ice cream was distributed on several occasions during these Atlantic journeys. The official record of the USS General M.B. Stewart from July 1943 details that on July 4, ice cream was made available to prisoners using the ship's onboard machine capable of producing 10 gallons per cycle. For men who had not tasted ice cream since before the conflict, enjoying this frozen treat in the middle of the sea felt incomprehensible. Upon arrival at ports like Newport News and Norfolk, German POWs were confronted by an America that Nazi information campaigns claimed did not exist. The Norfolk Naval Base, spread across 4,300 acres with extensive docking areas, managed a daily flow of cargo surpassing what leading German ports shipped in a week. While at port canteens, retail stores for dockworkers, prisoners saw shelves packed with candy bars from leading brands like Mars, Hershey, and Nestle. Military supply logs from 1943 revealed that these canteens stocked scores of candy types, offering them at regular prices, typically 5 cents for most bars, identical to national rates. The trip inland by rail offered prisoners additional instruction. In contrast to the livestock wagons that transported prisoners in Europe, German POWs traveled in passenger train cars with dining carriages serving full meals. Menus from July 1943 reveal offerings such as fried chicken, vegetables, coffee, and pie. Prisoners soon realized this was not special privilege, but the normal fare for American train passengers. The nationwide network of prison camps constructed in the U.S. housed prisoners in conditions above Geneva Convention standards. Camp Crossville in Tennessee, representative of large camps, boasted amenities like electric lighting, hot water, indoor plumbing, and heated sleeping quarters. Yet, it was the camp canteens, the post exchanges, that made the most lasting impression. Army Quartermaster documentation states these stores provided several soft drink options, including Coca-Cola, RC Cola, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, in addition to various candies and sweets, ice cream when refrigeration allowed, as well as cigarettes and tobacco products, fresh fruit and snacks, and beer with 3.2% alcohol by volume. Prisoners working earned 80 cents per day, later increased to $1. Given that both a Coca-Cola and a candy bar cost 5 cents each, a day's pay could buy 16 items that exceeded what was imaginable in Germany, where such goods, if they could even be found, required favoritism or black market connections. Coca-Cola emerged as the defining symbol of America's industrial democracy. During the war, the Coca-Cola Company's production attained exceptional volumes. According to company documents, 5 billion bottles were manufactured in 1943 alone. The military agreement ensured that American soldiers could purchase Coca-Cola for 5 cents anywhere in the world. Fulfilling this pledge demanded unmatched logistical efforts. German prisoners, most of whom had not encountered this beverage before capture, found it prevalent throughout the United States. Each prisoner of war camp received consistent shipments. Those assigned to work crews noticed vending machines and coolers in numerous locations such as gas stations, factories, and schools. People from all backgrounds and ages in America drank Coca-Cola routinely, often tossing partially filled bottles aside. The technical uniformity stunned prisoners with engineering backgrounds. Coca-Cola's flavor was exactly the same whether drunk in Maine or Texas, representing a level of quality assurance beyond what German manufacturers had managed. The syrup concentrate made in Atlanta was delivered to bottling facilities across the country, exhibiting an industrial organization that upended Nazi views of supposed American disorder. Archived materials from the Coca-Cola Company verify that many prison camps got weekly shipments equaling 200 to 300 crates, each crate holding 24 bottles. At Camp Hearn in Texas, for instance, prisoners consumed roughly 7,000 bottles every week during the summer of 1943. For Germans who had not encountered ice cream since before the conflict, the presence of ice cream in the American camps seemed unfathomable. However, Army documentation verified that ice cream was routinely served in camps equipped with sufficient refrigeration in the summer. Morale was deemed so vital by the military that dedicated ice cream ships were created for the Pacific Fleet. A celebration at Camp Shelby in Mississippi on July 4, 1943, featured ice cream churned on site. The prisoners observed as hand-cranked machines produced gallons of ice cream using ice, salt, cream, sugar, and flavorings. The seemingly effortless use of rare items using ice in July and expending cream and sugar for his food reflected values that Germans could not comprehend. By the year 1944, numerous camps had access to electric ice cream makers. The choices offered chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, butter pecan surpassed what German ice cream shops had provided before the fighting began. Prisoners were allowed to buy ice cream bars or sandwiches for 10 cents, as well as cups of different flavors. Records from Army procurement show that larger facilities requested 50 to 100 gallons of ice cream per week during summer periods. Though quantities varied by camp and time of year, this chilled treat, now absent from German society, was commonly available to captives. The way sugar was used in American prison camps had a particularly striking effect. Sugar in Germany was tightly controlled and rationed. Civilian allotments provided 280 grams per month when it could be obtained. By contrast, in American camps, bowls of sugar sat openly on mess hall tables for anyone to use as they pleased. Quartermaster logs dating from 1943 to 1945 document shipments of 100-pound sacks of refined sugar to camps each week. Camp bakeries made extensive use of sugar. Baked goods such as cakes, cookies, and pies frequently appeared on meal schedules. Coffee, tea, cereals, and desserts in the mess halls were sweetened liberally without limits. One specific example from Camp Aliceville, Alabama, underscores the disparity. During August 1943, humid weather caused several hundred pounds of sugar to harden and become unusable. Instead of steaming and recovering the sugar as Germans would have done, the kitchen staff simply threw it away and ordered new stock. German prisoners assigned to the kitchen reportedly felt distressed by this loss. Patterns of chocolate consumption in America reflected the concept of democratic plenty. Leading companies such as Hershey, Mars, and Nestle turned out millions of chocolate bars each month, even in the face of wartime limitations. During the war, the armed forces alone acquired 380 million pounds of chocolate goods. In prison camps, trades often involved an array of chocolate brands. Standard Hershey bars, Dations, emergency rations of chocolate, and assorted candy bars with chocolate could be bought for 5 to 10 cents. Prisoners came to realize that Americans held brand loyalties, often picking one chocolate over another without hesitation. Every month, the Red Cross delivered packages to prisoners that included chocolate bars alongside other supplies. According to records maintained by the American Red Cross, typical parcels contained one or more chocolate or candy bars, 2 servings of instant coffee, processed cheese, crackers, canned meat, cigarettes, and soap. These Red Cross packages acted as supplements to the usual rations, supplying luxuries that went beyond the standard rations issued to German civilians. When Thanksgiving arrived in 1943, German prisoners experienced firsthand the abundance of an American holiday. This uniquely American observance revealed a nationwide synchronization of consumption that greatly exceeded anything organized in Germany. Official Army documentation shows that at every camp, inmates were served a traditional Thanksgiving meal featuring roast turkey with stuffing, mashed potatoes and gravy, sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, vegetables, pumpkin pie, coffee, and milk. The effort necessary to provide turkey dinners for 425,000 POWs as well as millions of servicemen globally demonstrated organizational proficiency. The reality that German POWs received the identical meal as American troops highlighted an equal treatment stance, defying the racial hierarchy espoused by the Nazis. The Christmas season of 1943 brought forth surprising acts of kindness from the American public. Churches, club associations, and individuals sent parcels to German prisoners of war. The American Friends Service Committee by itself handed out 50,000 Christmas presents to enemy detainees. These gifts usually offered homemade cookies, candy, toiletries, recreational items, books, cigarettes, and writing utensils. Communities near the camps regularly contributed additional assistance. In Tonkawa, Oklahoma, local residents brought homemade sweets to the Germans held at Camp Tonkawa. In Hearne, Texas, local church members brought Christmas confections and candy to Camp Hearne. Such acts of compassion toward adversaries represented a direct challenge to the core of Nazi beliefs. Even Americans whose loved ones were fighting Germany extended goodwill to German captives, illustrating power through kindness instead of retribution.